Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We're going to talk about precious metals, especially gold and silver. But we're going to start it off first talking a little literature. Don't get too scared here, but I always like to find little segues here and there that are quite interesting. And this one's from Leo Tolstoy. So, truth, like gold, is to be obtained not by its growth, but by washing away from all that it is not gold. That's a good way to explain something that's of value or undercovering truth or like peeling an onion back. Now more than ever, truth is critical in a day or time full of misinformation. And gold, you just can't just grow gold. You have to remove all of the accoutrements that come with mining gold in order to get through the waste rock, the dirt, the pyrite, quartz, you name it. You have to get through that to get to the actual grams of gold. And I like that because it's perfect for today's day and age. It shows this great run that we've had in gold as a commodity, as well as silver, and why it's so critical nowadays. And finally, getting a bit more adoption in retail, portfolios, although minimally. And I would argue that one should really consider it. Yes, gold sounds boring. It's 6,000-year-old, store of value and whatnot. It's way more exciting to talk about technology and Bitcoin and everything. And I wouldn't take away from people wanting to own Bitcoin. And I certainly love talking about technology. It's very dramatic and very exciting. We see what AI could do and whatnot. But there's something to be said that when you're trying to build infrastructure, when you're starting to try to build energy, when you're trying to rebuild an economy, when you're going through the amount of changes that we're going, there's something to be said for those core fundamental things that are required and needed. And there's a reason why central banks are buying gold. There's a reason why governments buy gold. And this is part of it. There's many stories evolving around gold that just aren't really being picked off that much in mainstream news, that people aren't quite aware of. The number one being BRICS. That is the story that I think is critical. This two world solution that's coming up and defining itself is backed by that story of gold. There's the BRICS nations hinting that they're going to do some sort of commodities backed called the unit. That's being talked about, and that I don't think people understand of how critical and how huge that is if we have a multipolar system again, and people move away from the US dollar. We've seen already that the Saudis didn't renew their 50-year relationship. That was a few months back, which maybe is prophesizing or foretelling of what's to come. And of course, we see over the past weekend with the incredible events that happened with the assassination attempt, that puts a lot of fear in people to look towards stability, and gold promises that as well. People try to say that Bitcoin's a technological gold. It isn't. I think that there's lots of similarities, and I think that if you love Bitcoin like to forsake gold, to say I don't like it, I'll have it instead. I prefer the idea that, listen, maybe you should have some of both. Will there be a digital currency? Yeah, there's probably going to be a digital currency, and hopefully it's not dystopian. But will there be a critical need for gold and silver? Yeah, I think there's always going to be. There's something in not just for the sake of tradition, but there's something in value that is you can't get around. And one of the biggest questions we have on our side, because we cover a lot of junior miners and miners in general, is when are we going to see it in all the mining stocks? And well, we do see it in many of the mining stocks. It's the producers that we're seeing it, whether it's companies like Core Mining. To date, I think they're up 93%. New Gold up 89%. Kinross 73%. Kinross has done very well. That was one we've talked about before. Of course, Agnico Eagle that we really like. They're up 43.5% year to date. These are huge gains because they're able to work at a good efficiency, even a Barrick at a good efficiency rate, despite inflation and costs of building out new mines is very, very high. The price of gold is doing just well, sitting over 2,400, and they're reaping the rewards from that. When will it trickle down to the juniors? Well, if history teaches us anything, soon. It couldn't come soon enough for me, believe me. But we definitely would like to see the juniors start, heading that that kind of favorable path. But I think it's going to take a lot of critical things to happen for people to really move into the mining space. It's still a fraction of what it should be. And I don't mean just because of gold and silver and it being like a flight to safety. But it's tough for people to get their heads wrapped around it being, what's a dirty job. But it's a definite needed and critical job that can be done, always be done better. That's certainly true. But if it's well funded and well taken care of, and if we have organizing bodies that really support it and promote it, that would lead certainly the Western side, not the BRICS nations, but the West, who has to have a steady stream of critical metals as well. If they want to do any of this transition, any of it, even dream of doing it, they're going to need to have a steady policy that's cohesive. And we see this call in the US, I think it was around the 5th of July, somewhere around there, that Reuters, it was Ernest Schreider, who I just read his book as well. They pushed to reinstate the Bureau of Mines. Now, that would be a great start for the US to start promoting and have a set blockchain-backed even permitting process, regulatory process for all critical metals, not just gold and silver. It would be fantastic to see some sort of Bureau of Mines and lobbying group in Canada as well, because we see a lot of news stories saying that we need to support this and we need these critical metals. And certainly silver plays both roles of being a critical metal as well as a precious metal. There's not a lot of money being, propped up to support that claim. I mean, I always joke that the Milk Board has a bigger lobby and promotion side than any mining, yet mining is absolutely critical for any of this transition talk. So, if you've been kind of a gold bug, you've had an incredible 5, 6, 7 years just simply buying gold. And that is not exciting. It's not dramatic. It's not, flavor of the month investing, but you've done exceptionally well. And it's great to see the miners starting to have this past year, the producers doing very well as well. Come join us over at the Market Mindset. We would like to do these live things just to reach out to people, get them excited, chat about what's happening. There's no one needs to tell you that there's an election coming up. And we're going to talk more about that as well. And, sneak peek, I don't think whoever wins that any problems get resolved. There's some serious problems. So that means that, yes, there's going to be an energy transition. Yes, there's going to be a lot more oil and gas that continues to grow. And yes, we're going to need a lot of safety. There's going to be changes coming. And I see the future of precious metals. It's going to look strong. So come join us over the Market Mindset. We look forward to chatting with you.